Hello and welcome to this week's installment of Tinker Tuesday, where we are going to choose the subject of today's project via this piece of cardboard. I guess the title of this video probably gave that away. Now, there was certainly an appetite in the past videos when we did make this list for the old Poseidon to get some pretty baller parts put on it, and I can't help but say that you guys got great taste. And I agree. So here's what we've got. A Shimano RS505 brake and lever system that is all closed up and ready to go. However, as I've said in the past, not my favorite lever style. But these Ultegra levers, so we're going to take a mix of everything that Chris donated to the channel and the stuff that I found on Marketplace that may as well have also been donated to the channel, and make it all work together in one way or another. Now, you will have to forgive me because I am not a Shimano veteran. I don't know a lot about it. I don't really know how a lot of it works. And I'm especially unacquainted with the newer stuff. So I really don't know if the 105 11-speed derailleur that I have is going to work with those R8000 levers. There's only one way to find it. Try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try and get that missing piece. So one thing before I start this teardown, I just do want to make it sort of clear that I am a huge fan of this thing built up with the SRAM 2x10 setup. But the biggest problem with this thing, its biggest drawback, is just the lack of braking power. There's like nothing to be had in the rear. There's also not really super nice cables in there either. So the way it's designed, cable gets rusty. It brings the rust into the housing, and then you get this really kind of like gross, crunchy, terrible lever feel. The front, of course, is certainly better, and you could easily make that up by throwing a seal on these calipers and using a nicer stainless steel cable, but we have access to this group, so I see no reason. Someone asked in one of the previous videos of when I was putting this bottom bracket in this bike which tool it is. It's the Park Tools BBT29. It is the correct size for these FSA BB386 Evo external bottom brackets. So there you go, pro tip. Look how rusty and gross this rear brake cable got until it starts to look half decent again. Good. Terrible. Keep in mind, all these parts are going to be going onto the dirt cheap gravel bike build, swapping it back to a road drop bar from the flat bar setup that it has. So no, these parts will not be going to waste. Now I'm just going to start with the front because it's going to be the easiest one. The best part about this front lever action is that none of it is run internally, so I can just take the hose from this lever, put it into this one, and install it and bleed it after. I kind of wish that the rear was also externally routed, but I don't know if I have ever truly made this completely and utterly clear on this channel, but I really do hate working with Shimano parts. Here's the problem. Where the hydraulic fitting goes in here versus where the hydraulic fitting goes in here on the old R505 lever are two different diameters and two different threads. I originally had myself convinced that I had stripped this on the Ultegra lever and that this was the proper size. Turns out that is not at all the case. This is a different fitting altogether. What does that mean? It means I went back to the bike shop, saw a lineup of about 40 people outside, with them only letting one in at a time, and me turning around immediately to come back here and try and salvage something for this video. So I guess we'll just put these levers on these bars and throw the cranks on? How's that sound? This is just another one of those things that really solidifies my pure love for everything that SRAM does and solidifies my, not hatred for the way that it performs, but mechanic-wise, my disdain for most Shimano stuff. See, with SRAM stuff, you can pretty much make anything work together. You have like a crappy old Avid Elixir lever, you can probably make it work with like a SRAM Apex flat mount rear disc. Somehow, some way, it will work. This has different fittings versus a group set that is really not that far removed from it. And that is so frustrating. I'm just imagining all of you who work on Shimano stuff all the time who are just waiting for this moment in this video where you're like, not gonna work, not gonna work, not gonna work, not gonna work. There it is, it didn't work. I guess I could also change the cassette. On this week's episode of Tinker Tuesday, I take a bike that was working perfectly fine and render it utterly useless. Join me so you can laugh at all of the things I do.
Listen to it at midnight.
Hear my dad asking all the way in New Brunswick, what was wrong with the old levers? Or what was wrong with the brakes we were gonna put on? So what did we learn? And I use the term we very loosely. What did I learn the hard way? Well, simply put, that RS505 levers use this style barb and this style fitting. And the R8020L and R use a completely different one that I don't have right now, one that I have to order. Also, this bike is absurdly full of Shimano parts at this point. Shimano SLX hubs, 105 crankset, obviously Shimano bottom bracket, 105 rear derailleur, soon to be Ultegra front derailleur, Pro Vibe, Ultegra levers, and RS505 brake calipers. Not to mention the Shimano rotors that are on there. This is so the build that I have always avoided at all costs for all time. And after today's fail, I can see why. Here's hoping that it rides like a dream. It does look cool. There's no denying that. I might try and swap this out at some point. The setback is not my favorite. I might try and bring the saddle forward a little bit, but probably I should just try and get it back, just like try and get it back to like a full running bike again. I don't know. So many ideas. Also off camera when I was frustrated and I wanted to do something decent, I put a new lock ring and some sealant in that front tire. I'm not drinking, you're drinking. Okay, that's gonna be it for this Tinker Tuesday. If you've been wondering where the money that you contribute through Patreon goes, it goes into projects like this as well as helping Angela and I, of course. But it helps make content like this. It makes it so that all these annoying little parts that add up quite a bit over time to be purchased and make projects like this happen. As well as all purchases through the Spindat store and all through the Amazon links below, and basically any ad revenue that comes through here. It really keeps the operation going. Now for the important part that you are all truly here for. Kickflip progress, day 2. Do this for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes straight, and it just becomes a blur at some point. It's honestly harder than running a marathon to just keep doing this over and over again. I think I've got a little bit of overconfidence from yesterday into today. I need to get away from that a little bit. I'm not doing it right.